right. Wow. Rocky start there, everybody. We've changed everything to 1080p. Yes, Spin Music, we are so back. We got everything in 1080p, so we had to readjust some of our stuff. So if there's little problems tonight, I'm sure you're all going to be super patient with us, right? So, guys, I hope Scuba Duba appears. Actually, I think we're doing that. Isn't that one of our things, Bobby? We're doing Scuba Duba?
Yeah.
That's the first one. We're doing Scuba Duba. Look at that. It's your lucky night. I do, however, need to turn the correct mic on because right now the wrong mic is on. And I got to put my headphones on. All right. So let's turn that off. Let's take the headphones and put them on. All righty. Headphones are on, but I don't have a signal. Check 1, 2. I need to do this. Check 1, 2. It's still not on. Testing. There it is. Hello. Okay, so I can hear myself. And hello, Miles Game Studio. And that left-hand man and Superstar Man and Spin Music. Shout out to everybody, man. A big shout out. Oh my gosh, we got a new turret. Hello, turret. My audio's doubled. Right. I know why it's doubled too. I can fix that. Thank you. By the way, you get $100 for telling me that my audio is doubled, Superstar Man. It's 100 Pac-Man World dollars, and they don't exist yet. They don't exist yet. But soon they will. I don't know. All right. So anyway, guys, welcome to the stream. I'm having some back issues, so I'm kind of got the back brace on. Bobby's here. Of course, we've got the best t-shirt. And, we've got the best people. You guys are awesome. So, based David. I love this new word, based. He's based. I love it, right? Like, this is a thing now, the word based. He's really based. Yes, look at all the equipment. We can do a little, you know what we have not done, Bobby? Like an official tour, studio tour. We've not actually.
Right. Yeah, we have not.
We have not done that. Yeah. So perhaps we could start with that. Do we want to start with that? That seems like a pretty good place.
Why not? And I think you can start with the Pac-Man World 2 memorabilia right there on the left, no?
Oh yeah.
And then work your way over.
Oh yeah, why not? Absolutely. So, of course, we have the Pac-Man World 2 booklet. This is the GameCube edition. I made a festive Pac-Man World 2 all over the studio. In fact, we can play, what was that? Where's Waldo? That book where you have to find, right?
Yeah.
And so right? So oh, did you catch that one? Did you catch that one? So we're doing all of that. So yes. So then we have, this is the Game Boy over here, Pac-Man World 2. Maybe this is a better camera to show it on. There it is. That's much better. Pac-Man World 2. And, okay, cool. So let's talk about some of this gear because I often get asked about the gear. And maybe I'll sit because my back is really hurting. And by the way, guys, if you have any questions, let me move the table. I'm not going to use the force. I'll just admit that there's a mechanical motor doing this. Remember last time I sang the force theme, right?
Right.
So, I know my Mac. Isn't that terrible, guys? It's awful. The death of the Mac. And look, the carcass. Look at the carcass right there. The carcass. What's left of it? So sad.
It just won't turn on?
It turns on fine. It just will not, and it makes the startup chime. It just will not produce a video signal at all.
Oh.
And I tried plugging it in, and I like different monitors, different cables. I even put adapters from, DVI to HDMI to you name it. I chose monitors that had, HDMI and DVI. Like, it's crazy, dude. So, all right, guys. So if you guys have any questions, please do ask. I'm sort of a little bit eyeballing the chat, but I'm not like 100% there. So maybe Bobby also, if you happen to notice one. Hey guys, it's so good to see you, man. I'm so happy that there's people and people are returning, and seems like even there's more people, and it's awesome. I'm so happy that this is happening. All right, guys. So let's talk about this studio, because everybody always wants to know about the gear. So, you know what? If I was really smart, I would put the thing on the phone and then, do the... Should we do it right, Bobby? Should we just do this right? Let's do it right.
You can do it quickly.
Let's
sure.
Yeah, I'll try as quick as I can. Let's see. Because I usually have an aux cable kind of hanging around. And let's see, where's... Oh, that's already plugged in, so that's definitely not it. Oh, interesting. All right, let's see. Let's do this right, guys. Let's do this right. If we're doing a studio tour, come on. It's just one cable and then we're there. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to plug that in there. And 7 should be 7. Okay, so that's a big blank. All right, so oh dear. I swear, you guys, I'm a professional. Seriously, I swear it. I really am. We're almost there. I just gotta get the app. There's an app for that. What is it called? Shoot. I think it's good. Yeah, there it is. And how will you use Shoot? Stop bothering me. Damn it. You love the shirt. Thank you. The shirt loves you back. Look at this. See? We're doing it the right way, Bobby.
There it is.
We're doing it the right way. I'm glad you guys like the shirt. We can even do like the close-up. Huh? Bobby made this shirt. And it is really my favorite shirt. Okay. So, studio tour the right way. So, at the very top, we have the Universal Audio Apollo 8, which is my main audio interface. Then below, and a lot of people think these are props, but I swear they're not props. We do need to turn on the US power, though. Let's turn on the US power, because these are all American power, so they have special... They have a special converter from the EU power. Anyway, all this stuff is plugged in. It's all wired up. This is like, these are all reverb units and multi-effects units. The Eventide H3000, oh my gosh, I don't know how to explain it. I guess multi-effects and micro pitch. Yeah, multi-effects and micro pitch shifting is what it was sort of famous for. This is just like a multi-effects unit. This is Amp Farm, which is like sort of early modeling technology. This is the latest guy to get hooked up, tested, and it's beautiful. This is the JP8080. I love this synth, one of my favorite synths. And Arturia just made a JP8080.
Right.
Yeah. So down here, this is the Drummer 1960, which is like a vacuum tube compressor. It's just wonderful sounding. And the DBX 160A, just kind of like a classic. And then some, these are all, oh, there's the Aphex Exciter, which I don't really use anymore, but I used to back in the day. And then mic pre's over there. Okay.
Were any of these in Pac-Man World too?
Oh yeah, 100%. All this was, well, not the Apollo, but all three of the Lexicons and the H3000, 100%, all were in Pac-Man World 2. Yes.
Okay.
The electrics, this thing, I used on X-Men Mutant Academy a lot. I relied on it, in fact. This, I don't think it got used on Pac-Man World 2. But tell you what, before we go across the desk, we'll just do this rack over here, because this is the iconic, the pan pipes, the Pac-Man pipes. These are them. So whenever you hear those famous flutes, they're all from this guy, and this is also all plugged in. Everything is plugged in. You can, and it's all got MIDI and audio, and it's tested. Like I told you, we're real professionals over here. We got the, so yeah, this is a Roland synth. That's a vocoder, that Warp Factory. The U220, my first synth ever, but I had the keyboard version, which was the U20. This is the Yamaha Motif. This was used on Pac-Man World 2. This is the mighty K2500. Holy cow. Most advanced sampler of its day. We have the Roland XV5080. The 5050 is the one on top, and then the 5080 is the one on the bottom. The 5080, now there's a software version of this that Roland released, but still the hardware, it works. It's plugged in. This is the Super JX, which is the JX8P in a box. Actually, it's two JX8Ps in a box. Look at that. What a beautiful little... Ooh, that looks nice, doesn't it?
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you still use any of these for new music?
Now that I have a plug-in version of the 5080...
Right.
You know, the funny thing is, this is hooked up for power, but oh no, it is. It's hooked up for audio and MIDI. Yeah, both. So yes, I could use it theoretically, but it's a pain in the ass. But this guy I've been using, you can't really see the screen so well, huh? It just I swear there's stuff on there, but it's hard to read, I guess. That's really weird. It shows up blank. It's definitely not blank. You see out there, you can see now, like, right?
A little bit.
Little bit. Like, in other words, it's not imaginary friends in my head. There's actually stuff there. This thing was such a beast. It was incredible. Down there is the S6000, the Akai, mighty Akai sampler. This is the Super Quartet, which is two Juno 106s, rack mounted, and one TR707, and then 12 bass presets that are from God only knows what. All right, so that's this side of the rack. So then this is just my amp for, monitoring. It's my desk volume control, etc. My stream decks, some guitar picks, because you got to have those. This is probably one of the most used synths, but the audio is not hooked up. So you're probably wondering, well, what the hell do you actually use it for? Because every synth in the Roland Cloud, this is the beauty of the Roland Cloud, you can control, every one of these knobs controls perfectly every plugin in the Roland Cloud. So if I have the Juno 106 open, boom, my filter and cutoff on this synth perfectly controls everything in Roland Cloud. It is sick. I love it. There's the ATEM Mini Extreme. This is my my video studio. There's my very futuristic lamp, which I love. So then we have my main MIDI controller. Nothing fancy. It's a Nectar. These are the Monogram CC MIDI controls. Do not buy these, you guys, because the company is bankrupt now. They're still accepting orders, but you will never get them. What is this silver-looking emu sampler? That is literally what is responsible for, I'm going to go with 40% of all the sounds in X-Men Mutant Academy. This is the ESI 2000, and it's also all got power and everything. Look at it, says the 4000, but on the box it says the 2000. I must have done a software upgrade at some point, because it has always been the 2000 as I know it. It's just Emu made these amazing samplers. For anyone who knows the old samplers, they were just fantastic. By the way, I'm going to turn all this stuff off because I'm not using it, so there's really not any point to keeping any of these on. Oh, we should talk about the K2500 filter challenge.
Oh, right.
Right.
The challenge.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that. Okay, so don't buy these monograms. Do not. Okay, because the company is bankrupt, but they're still accepting orders, which is so corrupt. It's ridiculous. This is perhaps one of the greatest synths ever made. This is the Access Virus A. This is the very first one that ever came out. And there is no audio hooked up, but there is MIDI hooked up. You can see the MIDI cable. Now, why is that? Why is it that there's no audio? Because actually, I just used that as a controller. Because now there's a plug-in version called Ostirus or something. I can't remember what they called it. And the thing is, you actually can't use it unless you actually own a virus. But people use it anyway. But I actually own the virus. I'm quite proud of that because it's such a great synth. Anyway, it perfectly controls the plug-in version, like 1-to-1, perfectly. So that's cool. Okay, so what else do we got here? We got the Nectar, the CS12 controller. It's sort of like my main control strip for when I'm in Logic. And then basically this is like my virtual console. So this is the SSL, what is it, the FP8? There's another Emu you had. Do you still own it? How do you know about my other Emu? Wait a second. Mikan, how do you know I had another Emu? I gotta know. Like, do I know you from back in the day or something? It's true, I had another Emu sampler. How did you know? This is freaking me out. Who are you? I was in your first stream. Okay, that's fair. No, but that was never in. I never had that here. Anyway, well, so I'm impressed to see how you made Pac-Man World 2 masterpiece tracks. Yeah, I'm going to break that down.
We're going to get into it.
Yeah, we're going to get there, Adam. I swear. So I think that's basically it. And then, of course, you know, there's like the main... Oops, what happened? There we go. This is the main workhorse. It's the Mac Studio. It's the M1 Ultra, fully maxed, 128 gigs of RAM. And there's 32 terabytes of SSD in this guy right here. A bunch of, FireWire hubs and whatnot. And I think that's about it. I think that's it. Oh, and then up there is the server. There's a server up there. You can see right there. It's a Synology. And then I have another server up there, which you can't really see, but it is the, what is it? What the hell is it called? The Asus Store. That's what it's called. And it's a 48 terabyte SSD. And that's my main work drive. I do everything on that SSD. And the HDD server is there to back up the SSD server. It's a very well thought out solution. So there it is. Oh yes, of course there's a Boba Fett. Of course there's a Boba Fett and an R2D2, obviously. And I mean, I don't think I need to say this, but I'm sure all of you know, I'm with the Rebel Alliance. That's obvious. I'm not an Imperial soldier. I'm with the rebellion. You know why, guys? Because I got nothing but love in my heart. Just love. Just love, guys. Whatever you do in your life, do it with love. Oh my God, look, there's another person who subscribed. Buster's Gurk. I don't know. How do you pronounce that? Buster's Gurk? Buster's, I guess, long. Okay.
I think we can get into the music.
The music? Do we, maybe we do the, as a separate video, I'll just tell you the Kurzweil K2500 filter challenge.
Oh my.
I'll explain it. In fact, I'll explain it. Buster ZX. Okay, the Buster ZX. What's up, the Buster ZX? All right. I like mine better. Buster Gurk. As the K2500 is fully expanded as far as the RAM goes. So yeah, back in those days, the maximum you could put RAM in a sampler, and all of my samplers before the K2500 were all 32 megabytes with an M. And that was the max. And the K2500 was the first to go to 128. And yes, it had the full voice capabilities and the maximum 128 RAM. I was really proud of that, actually. Now it's probably worth $10. So the filter challenge, the K2500 has the best sounding filters I've ever heard, ever. And I used, it's very well featured in my X-Men Mutant Academy track. And I realize we're here to talk about Pac-Man, but I'm just going to briefly play a little bit of this crazy filter, because my challenge is, can anybody, because I literally went through every single filter in Contact 8, literally everyone, and try to recreate, because the filters in the K2500 are literally off the chain, and I have never, ever heard anything even a little bit close. I even tried Serum, and I tried Pigments. I tried bringing that sample into everything. Guys, nothing even compares or comes close. Nothing. And let's just listen. I know we're here to talk about Pac-Man. I get that part. But let's just have a little listen to this track. It's kind of a cool track. All right, here we go. There it is. Okay, so the filters, in case you missed it, it's that thing that sounds like it's a dentist's drill going through your teeth. That is it. So that is a sample. I sampled a synth, a distorted synth. So I ran a synth through something, I can't remember. Brought it into the K2500 and just found some cool filter that I thought, this is cool. I have never, ever even heard anything a little bit close. And I'm with you. I really hope they do an emulation of the K2500, because nothing, guys, there is nothing like those filters. And that's why it's hooked up. And that's why I have an old iOmega zip drive hooked up. Yeah, that's going way back, guys. I'm going way back. Let's see. Is it popped out? It is popped out. Guys, look at that. The iOmega zip drive. And that's
wow,
my.
I haven't seen one of those in.
I know, right?
25 years or more.
I know.
No more. Probably
And
30
it's got.
years.
There's my old address in Hollywood, California, and my old telephone number in Hollywood. Guys, this is like a piece of history. It's like a little piece of history, man. Oh shit! I hope I'm not doxing the person who lives there now. Maybe, like, guys, if any of you live in Hollywood, please don't go to that address and knock on the door and be like, "Can I see where David Logan used to live?" Anyway, I'm really not that famous. The only thing I have for the K2500 is the bare bones contact library. Yeah, guys, the K2500, the filters were like. They were just like magical. But we're here to talk about Pac-Man. Let's do that. So, I
Scuba
think...
Dooba.
Scuba Dooba! Who was it who was requesting Scuba Dooba? I can't remember, but it's your lucky day. So, I don't know if I want to sort of... Yeah, I didn't mean to... I didn't think that one through, the unintentional doxing. I'm really sorry if I dox somebody, the person who lives there now. Anyway, that's where I lived in the heart of Hollywood, man. That's in between Hollywood and Sunset Boulevard, just east of La Brea. So I was like right in the heart, man. Like you could walk to the Man's Chinese Theater. It was like, wow. And in the mid to late 90s, I was like, it was a pretty cool place to be. You know, I don't know if Bobby, if you remember that far back, but there was the Green Police where they decided they wanted, before they built the big mall on Highland. And so they put these private sort of security to kick out the pimps, the prostitutes, the drug dealers, and the drug addicts. And they cleaned up Hollywood. And so it was incredible because then it became really safe and you could walk down and at night and it was like totally safe. So it was a really, really nice time to be living out there. Okay, I never played it far enough to hear Scuba Dooba as a kid, but I'm going through the soundtrack later in life and it's one of my top favorites. Well, I'm very glad it's your top favorite. As far as what can I say about this track, how about we play a little bit of it and then I'll maybe do a little bit of explaining. Yeah. Here we go. Here it is. Scuba Dooba. Wait, there we are. So there's a little taste and we can kind of, and it's so funny, like I'm hearing all these mistakes and I'm trying to mix as I go and oh, by the way, like here's the virus. Remember I was telling you about the virus, right? So here it is. This is it. So for example, let's just try doing, yeah, there we go. So as I'm look guys, this is happening in real time. You can see also on the screen here. So this virus is a 100% control. See that? Look at that. So I'm controlling all of this with my hands. Oh, wait, I know what I can do. I have this just for this situation. There you go. Look at that. See, isn't that cool, guys? I probably just messed up the entire sound, but that's okay. You guys still love me, right? So let's see here. We can also go to my bank here. I'm sure I have a copy of this here in the Pac-Man bank. Wait, let's put this back here. So this is the little library that I built. Yeah, there it is. There's the virus A47. So now it's back to how it was before. And it sounds like. Guys, it's hard to explain how revolutionary this little virus synth was back in the day. It was just, I mean, it was incredible. It was so, it really was something else. And that's why it's so much loved that there was that open source community that remade it into a plugin. Because the guy, Kemper is his name. His last name is Kemper. He just lost interest. He just sort of pulled the plug and he wanted to build amps. And so he made the ultimate guitar amp and just left the whole world of synthesizers. And everybody who loves those synths was just like, but no. So, how many orb points do you have? Oh, guys, the Nightbot is pestering you, is advertising. Because if you have enough orb points, I guess you can buy like some of our fun emotes. Like these. Yeah, there's some fun emotes. Of course, the beloved Pac-Man emote. Got to have that one. And Logan's Love. You got to have Logan's Love. And then Orb. We got Orb emotes, guys. I have no idea how you're supposed to collect your orb points, but there's some. I think it's like for how many hours you watch the stream. I don't know. I honestly I don't remember. Anyway, so no, the Clyde and the Caldera, all the music is exactly as it was supposed to be, because that's exactly what I was directed to do from Namco. So it is correct. I know that the Clyde and the Caldera, I think they named the character or the level wrong. So I know that there was a mistake on that level, but it was not the music written. So anyway, I guess let's break down this track a little bit here.
Hey David, Tyler Drift has a quick question.
Go for it.
Which one of the songs took you the longest?
Oh, by far the Spooky Boss. Oh yeah, the Spooky Boss. Okay, I got to answer this, the Grunke question, 789. So the question was, I love how each level's music is a variation of the same melody. It's interesting. Each tune can sound familiar. Yeah. Was it a personal choice, or was it something you were guided to do from Namco? It's a bit of both, right? Because like I'm a film composer by trade. Like that's my sort of main gig in life, I suppose. And so, you know, for me, I was always interested in like themes and, you know, how, you know, important themes are in terms of character development. And, you know, this whole idea that somehow, you know, video games are like not real, or it's not real character development. I mean, sure, the characters are not as deep in, you know, as let's say, you know, like in film or in writing and novels. But it depends on the game. It depends on the game you play, right? Because some of them can be very deep. So I was always interested in thematic scoring. So Yasunaguchi was the main guy my point of contact, him and Glenn Curtin. And, you know, it was a discussion, you know. Yas would say, hey, is it possible to do this? Like, he always phrased things in questions. He never said, do this or do that. He would always say things like, hey, is it possible to, you know, add this, or is it possible that we can add that? And did you tend to find the world's melody? Yeah, I mean, these are great questions, you guys. And honestly, it was 24 years ago. So, you know, I think, look, it came from a lot of different things. There was a lot of discussion. There were a lot of emails. There was a lot of trying. And you know what's so funny is I can't find all the outtakes, but I found some of them, some of the rejected music, you know, because a lot of it got rejected, you know. So yeah, they're great questions. I don't have like precise answers. But I guess it was a process. It was always a process. Yeah. Okay, so here we have two synths. There's two virus patches, just sort of ominous bass thing. And we have this, the patch number, for anyone who's curious, is the A47. And it was called Basics. And, you know, it's a very robust synth. So you have your effects section. So, you know, I did like a timed delay to synchronize, you know, with the beat clock of the actual sequence. Somebody was asking about some of the sound effects. Okay, I think probably the one they were asking about is this thing that I call spacey drum. So, is that what you're asking about? I think you were, maybe. And then there's another one. Was it the Submar? Okay, could have been the Submar. Right. Yeah, it's that. Okay, it's the breathing. Yes, exactly. It's the space drum from Distorted Reality. So, yeah, whenever you see this wallpaper that I did, you know, I'm here to promote the sounds that I collected to make this Pac-Man library, right? So I'm not here to advertise for Omnisphere and for Spectrasonics. However, we always have to give credit where credit is due. Right. And the person who made that sound, his name is Eric Persing. And he's one of the greatest geniuses of our time. He really is. And I didn't realize how far back. I did some research on him the other day because I was interacting with his sounds and I was remembering how beloved Distorted Reality was, which was parts of that now exist in Omnisphere. Anyway, he is the genius who created Omnisphere. And he used a lot of those old sounds, a lot of the ones that I'm using in Pac-Man World 2. So we have to give proper credit where credit is due. And I was thinking about Eric Persing the other day, because of course I bought every one of those libraries, every Spectrasonic CD I owned, you know, but in every one of the last patch in all the Spectrasonics was always a recording of him, and the title of the track was "Listen to This," and he said, you know that thousands of hours and tons of people, their time and their effort and their energy, you know, so please do not copy this CD, do not trade it, it's not yours to freely distribute, you cannot resell. Like, in just the coolest way, just explained, guys, I did a lot of work, you know, don't screw me. Listen, 100% of my software, I own everything. I don't have a cracked version of anything on my main computer. I mean, there's one exception to that, but it's just for previewing things before I buy them. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Not saying what, but anyway. How did you make those Pac-Man skins for Contact? Right, not saying anything. But I always purchased everything, and because I believe, as composers, especially if we make money from our music, we have to buy 100%. These products. We have to. Because if we don't support them, how else is a genius, and I say genius because he's the Leonardo da Vinci of sound design. There's no other way of describing Eric Persing. He is one of the greatest. I hope somebody sends him this clip. I do, because he's a genius. And so as composers, if we make money from these products, we have to buy it. We have to buy it. And, you know, I understand that before you earn money as a composer, I guess you got to do what you got to do. I'm, you know, but I don't condone any kind of copyright violation, because it sucks when people steal my intellectual property. It's not a very nice feeling. However, Eric Persing, so I didn't realize it, but I was thinking about him the other day and how great his achievements were. And so I did a little Googling on Eric Persing, because I heard his voice, you know, in the Listen to Me, because I'm converting all these things from the old, you know, Kurzweil K2500 format, the Akai S6000 formats into Contact. And so I found that audio message of his, and I just, I felt a closeness to the guy, I suppose, because,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, these sounds are part of Pac-Man, and he's responsible for that. He's responsible. Now, the best and most awesome drums are all custom Logan jobs. Because we got to give credit where credit is due. Well, hell, I mean, that's my snare drum library behind me, if you can see the snare drums. So, my drum sounds are... Anyway, but I researched him, and I came across... So he goes all the way back to the Roland 770, 760 orchestral libraries. I always thought they were done, and in the last stream I said they were done by Peter Sidliacek. I think he was the orchestra director for that library, but Eric Persing was the guy who put it all together, who probably hired Peter Sidliacek. But he made those sounds for the Roland 770 sampler, right? And so, again, and I didn't know that. Also, he designed most of the patches on the original Roland D50. Are you kidding me? That's why I say he is the Leonardo da Vinci of sound design. Because, yes, isn't that cool, Spin Music? It's so cool. So we got crazy love for Eric Persing. Crazy. Because he really is. The D50 is, and the JD800, my favorite synth. I used to own the JD800. That was another one that he was famous for making. I didn't know any of this. And so I don't know. I guess, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. I mean, Omnisphere is like on everything, the way Distorted Reality was on everything back in the day. Actually, they call Omnisphere the film score killer because you can't use any of the patches because they've all been used on... Or like just go on Netflix and I guarantee whatever show you pick, you're going to hear something from Omnisphere. Right. And by the way, when people ask, should I buy it? I say, do not buy it because it's peak. It's saturated. The market, like it's wonderful, but I literally never use it. Never. Because you can't. Plus, it's not so hard. Remember, at the time when he was making this stuff, it was revolutionary. But now we know how to make a cool, like with LFO tool and controlling, gates and, making cool cutoff filters being controlled by velocity and having I can't think of it now. My God, why did I just did a big fart? A sidechain, right? So we can have a drum, we can take a pad, put a compressor on it, open up a drum loop, feed the drum loop into the sidechain and have that activate the opening and closing. Like there's of a noise gate, and you can also do it with a compressor. So it's sort of like common knowledge now. So you don't really need Omnisphere. And I always say, do it yourself now, right? Yes. But Eric Persing was like the pioneer. He was the guy. He was so important. So anyway, enough on Eric. I love you, Eric. If you're getting this, thank you for being so inspirational. Because these are his sounds, these guys right here. And... is the Submar might have been from... What is it from now? Is it? Actually, I think this is from... I took some of the sound design sources and I used them as percussion instruments. Some of the sound design that was in the game. But let me find something that is like for sure 100% an Eric Persing. No, I don't have anything of his now. But anytime you see, I always keep the original naming on. So whenever you see I think the Spacey drums, yes. So this is an original right from right out of Distorted Reality, right? And you can hear the attack is too quick for the sample. So, oh, here, you know what? I'll do this on the screen so you can see what I'm doing. So the attack time on the envelope. By the way, can they please give Contact a frickin' facelift? It's such an ugly sampler. Anyway, the attack is at 0. It shouldn't be. So let's... you see the difference between that? Do you hear the little clicking sound? I don't know if anyone picked that up, but anyway. So that's a pure 100% Eric Persing, not affected in any way. It's exactly as it was on... by the way, these are the featured kits that I use from Distorted Reality, and there was another disc I used a lot called A Poke in the Ear with a Sharp Stick. I kid you not, that's what the name of the library actually is. And I bought that also. I owned all my libraries. Anyway, these are from both of those discs. These are the main kits that I used. I used Low Tech Bits. I used the Sand Drums, which were his, and Craze Drum, and that was also his. Anyway, we're just going to save that patch just so we have it. Anyway, so yeah, when you see these skins on here, it's a Spectrasonic sound, but it's what I chose to make the Pac-Man World 2 world of music feel the way it feels. And because I have a right and a license to use it, right? So, I give credit where
How often do you find yourself thinking about these old sounds and say, you know what, that might be the right one today?
It's such a great thing. It's such a great question because, you sort of don't really think about it. And then I remember probably about sort of like 10 years ago, I started noticing like I don't use Distorted Reality anymore. Like, because I started making my own cool sounds and I started, figuring out a lot of the tricks that Eric Persing pioneered. And then just sort of like, why am I going to use, I remember when Omnisphere was first called Atmosphere. I don't know if anybody remembers that. That was the first plug-in version of Omnisphere. It was called Atmosphere, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, yeah, so eventually, like, I just sort of noticed, like, I was making a lot... Like, I've always been into making my own sounds. But anybody that makes sounds, you still have to have a source. So many of the sources, especially for my drum sounds, are me. Playing beats or, making, just interesting sounding textures. Using other drums as natural reverb. So, for example, you can take like a floor tom and tune it really tight. Put your source on one side, like maybe a snare drum or another tom, and then put your mic at the bottom end of the tom-tom, and then play. You get a natural reverb. It's an incredible sound, and so these are sort of like, this was like the searching that would go on where. Like, okay, I used Distorted Reality. Every composer used Distorted Reality back then. So now how do I make my own? How do I become my own Eric Persing? But you see, nobody would have thought of any of this had he not done it first, which is why I have such a debt of gratitude to that guy. He is like literally the Da Vinci of sound because he pioneered everything, right? Like everything that we know about anything and everything, he did it. He's brilliant. He's a genius. Okay, so let's go back into the track a little bit, yeah?
Yes.
And I'll try to break it down. If you guys have some questions about anything in the track, sound sources or anything really, please do just say, and I'll get into it. Right, so we were talking, I had the two synths, then I have the Roland... the Juno 106, and as I was explaining to you guys before, you can see here, let's see, what's the best angle for this? I guess like this, right? So this is why I love this green thing here. Oh, you can't really, well, you can, I'm tweaking the green thing. Let's see if I do something. There we go. See that? You can see my hand there. And the LFO rate, oh, God only knows what I did to it. But that's why I love this little green machine, because every single plugin of Roland you can control with this little green guy. So, all right. So anyway, this was a patch that I actually had in my MKS7, which was so difficult to program. Anyway, when I first got the Juno 106, because I had a real Juno 106. So when I first got this plugin, I literally spent the entire day just rebuilding some of my favorite patches from the unit. And that's all. And if you look here, you can see in my Logan bank, exclamation point. And it says exclamation point because I finally, after like 3 hours of trying, I finally got it, you know? Anyway, just to say. All right, so going back to this. So this was, carefully, and it might not seem like a lot, but that's the key element. Guys, that's one of the key elements of this track, right? If I mute the Juno, I mean, that's still a cool track. Am I wrong? No, I mean, that's a great track, but it's that Juno, it's the spice, man. That's the spice. And of course, I have a time delay. If you want to look at the settings, you're welcome. Just 8 tuplets, basically. Simple logic delay does the trick. And normally,
did you have this information in the from the sequencer, and you copied for example, the delay and stuff? Or?
That's such a good question, man. The short pick, indeed. The Juno was like. The Juno, I mean, it's impossible to say how important the Juno was back in the day. Everybody had a Juno 106. I had one. I also had the Super Jupiter. I had 2 Super Jupiters. I still have my Super JX, and I have my MKS30 is somewhere. I don't know where. MKS7 I never sold. An interesting story about that MKS7 for another time. But to Bobby's question, right, so how were those delay settings measured? So, the big missing element in all of this is my mixing console from back in the day. That's gone forever. That was the Mackie Digital 8 bus, which basically every composer that was doing any kind of work anywhere in the world at that time, they had the Mackie Digital 8 bus console. And it had a built-in effects patch that came standard with it. All my reverbs and delays were on that. But what I found is that the Logic Silver delay, Silver Verb, and the Logic Standard, whatever, stereo delay, it sounds almost exactly the same. It's just like a generic reverb and a generic... In fact, normally I use the Arturia... Delay Eternity, fantastic, one of the best delays out there, but it's too fancy. So I had to go back to simplify. So I use this simple, the simple Logic, basic simple Logic built-in delay did the trick. But this is so important. The Juno was, So
you just timed it together and just figured out, okay, it's a...
Exactly. And I just made it. So what I did, if you notice here, every single track will always have these Pac-Man audio tracks at the top. And these are stems and full mixes of... So if I do this, let's see. Oh, wait, let me unsolo this. So I have everything up here. So I just listen.
Right.
I would just have a listen to the hi-hats. Damn, the hi-hats are way hotter in this mix. So I probably need to boost those hats. And by the way, this has been a painful... And they're the wrong hats. Look at that. Yeah, I think I mentioned this on one of my other streams, which is that, some of the soldiers were left behind. Some of them didn't make it. Some of them didn't make it, guys. Rest in peace. Yeah. When you said this would be a fire ringtone, are you talking about the Juno with the delay? because I'll play it again and I won't talk. And if you want, you can just rip it and put it on your phone. It would be my pleasure and my honor if you were to make this into a ringtone. And by the way, guys, I think it'd be so cool if there was some way we could just kind of like build a community. There seems to be so much excitement around the soundtrack. We're seeing people in the chat like never before. People watching the stream. It's like there's clearly an interest here. All right, let's do this. I'm going to shut up just for Nick, and I'm going to play the mighty Juno 106 short pick. And you know what else I'm going to do? We do have a Discord. I'm going to put this up on the screen, and you can also copy all my settings from my MKS7 that I used to have, or no, I still have, guys. There it is. You see that one, the white rack? That's where it came from, which is 2 Juno 106s in a box. And then, like I said, I spent the entire day just trying to reconstruct my sort of favorite go-to patches. All right, this is just for Nick. So, well, anybody can clip this, I suppose. But these are the settings from the very famous Juno 106. The other thing I'll do, because love, guys, do it all with love, whatever you do in your life. These are the MIDI notes. It's hard to get this all on one screen to fit, but... So you can even, I'll tell you what, you can examine these at 2 different timestamps. I don't know what timestamp we're on, guys, but mark the timestamp as right now. And these are the MIDI notes right here. So I'll play. Here we go. And then it just essentially repeats. So those are the MIDI notes. And then if you want to copy the synth and the synth parameters, here they are. Okay, I think that's enough. I think it's enough to make a ringtone. So Nick, I hope you turn it into a ringtone. So, okay, let's talk about strings and horns for a moment. So, again, this is all Eric Persing. He's all over this. Dude, he's all over this soundtrack. Like, it's insane, actually. He's like all over this soundtrack. So, this is the original Roland 770 strings library. And there's no round robins on here. It's all just straight. So let's see, where are we here? So we got some violas. You know, I think one of the most important things about composition that every student of composition should really spend a lot of time on is voice leading, you know? So, no, this is not, I don't know if it's string masters, by the way. I know that this library, for example, was done by Sidliacek, because if you buy the Sidliacek Orchestra, it's just called Orchestra by Peter Sidliacek. It's exactly the same as the Roland 760 sounds. They're identical. So I'm sure Eric Persing hired Sidliacek, and maybe it was called String Masters, Kiwi, I don't know. Oh, by the way, Kiwi, I emailed you back about setting up a time to have a little chat. I have not forgotten that we're going to do that, okay? So you got to get back to me, though. And then, you know what? Just propose. You did? I didn't. I have not been checking my emails. So, because I've been doing what? Reconstructing Pac-Man World 2. That's what I've been doing. So I have a really good reason. You know, I flaked on Bobby. I missed a meeting with Bobby. I forgot because I was so deep into Pac-Manning. It's a verb now, Pac-Manning.
It's a good one.
It's a good one, right? Anyway,
Right.
I think every student of composition must learn voice leading. Look how smooth the voice leading is. Voice leading refers to how can you change from one chord to another using the least amount of interval space. So you can see the center note never changes. That's what you want in good voice leading. The upper voice never goes more than a whole step, and same with the bottom. Never goes more than a whole step. And that is really, really good voice leading. I mean, I'm saying this without my ego attached. Like it's basically how they taught us at Berkeley. It's textbook voice leading. Really super simple. Anyone can do this. It's not difficult. Here's another. There we go. Again, really just very smooth voice leading. And by the way, if we were to talk about this as a visual representation, for those who are not composers, just so you can contextualize this, just to give you an idea. So this is a basic C major chord. This is a G chord. This is a large amount of space between these chords, a distance from here to here. What if I did this? It's exactly the same chord, but I'm just using different voicings. In other words, if we take a C major like here, if I take the center note, which is the E, and I move it to this E, we get the same C major chord. Okay? And to go to that G chord, we wouldn't do this because it's too much distance is traveling. So the smoothest way to go to G from this C would be that. Okay? But I think, what am I doing? I think that's what I'm doing, or am I going to the A? No, I think I'm doing... Am I? Like, I forgot completely now, guys. I completely forgot. I don't even remember these chords. It's like really funny, actually. So I'm in the C... Is it? No, really? Just to... Oh, wow. So... Wow. That is an interesting choice. So what am I doing here? So this is, I'm going to E flat major. It's coming back now. A little bit of the compositional process is slowly coming back to me. Oops, I should turn this off. We don't need that camera anymore. It's slowly coming back. Anyway, so what did I do? I went from C major in the root position. I'm getting a little nerdy. And then I did E flat major in second inversion. And guys, it's a really interesting chord choice. Like really, it's quite different. So, damn. Because I never really thought about the chords ever. When you compose, you sort of set it and forget it. Like you write your music and then you don't think about it ever again. Like every time I have to analyze what did I do back then, you know? Anyway, I think the Nightbot was telling us it's time for a break. Shall we?
Yes, I think we can take a quick break and come back with the treetops.
Yes, let's do that. And yes, by the way, some people are talking about the S760 orchestral library became the SRX collection, but it's not the same. It's not complete, not as far as I can tell. There's a lot of things that are missing, but still fantastic libraries, but nothing compared to the modern Spitfire stuff or a Flatus. These libraries don't hold up anymore. There's a couple that kind of do, and I could even talk about. There's a couple that I kind of use once in a while, but let's do a little break. How long, Bobby, are we doing?
We can do 3 minutes.
3 minutes. All righty. So we'll be back, guys, in 3 minutes. All right. So I will put the break little placard up, and we'll be right back. right, guys, we are back. And you know what I love about the chat is there's so many old guys. How do I know you're old guys? Because you remember the S760. That's how I know you're the old guys. Because you're asking me, was my K2500 fully expanded? Like, only old guys would ask that question. Young guys don't know shit about K2500s, let's just say.
Right.
They know tons of shit about other stuff. Oh, let me also turn off some of these gears. I don't need all of this shit on. What is it, Bobby?
Nothing.
You're 28? No. 22? No. How do you guys know this shit? Okay, guys, I take it back. I don't have an emote for that other than... Oh, wait, I do. There. I apologize. You just know this stuff. Damn. But you didn't live it. But you didn't live it, guys. You did not. Don't tell me when you were 9 years old, you had a K2500. I ain't buying that story. All right. But I swear I thought you were old guys. But you just know this stuff. It's amazing. I love it. All right, guys. So here's what's going to happen. I'm loading up our next piece of music. So give me one moment and I will take care of that right away. Butane Pain, I believe, right? Is what we decided, Bobby?
What's that?
I think Butane Pain is what we decided, right? Treetops level 3.
That's it.
Cool. So, it's Butane Pain. You know what? I was breaking down some of my rhythmic, because I'm a drummer, you guys. That's my first thing is drums. And I was breaking it down and I was just like, I really thought of rhythm in a way I sort of was like, I basically think of it like counterpoint. I think of counterpoint, which is the managing of multiple melodies at the same time. So I sort of do counterpoint with rhythm because look, most people, they make a rhythm like boom, pat, boom, ba boom, pat, boom. And the whole thing is one unit. Right? And that's how most people, especially non-drummers, they think of rhythm. They don't think of things like polyrhythms or, sometimes I would mix, like I would do a beat in 5/4 and put it on top of a 4/4 beat. People don't do that, Bobby. Nobody does that except me. Oh, another thing nobody ever does, I'm just passing time while the project loads. Nobody does mixed rhythm correctly. Or 7/8, I should say. Everybody does the same. Bapu, 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 or bapu, 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 bapu. I completely do things in a different way. I place accents over multiple bars. Okay. Okay. So over maybe 4 or 8 bars. That's the other thing. When I was looking at my Pac-Man World 2 MIDI files, like I'm never working in 4-bar phrases. I'm always doing 8 and 16-bar phrases. Now, melodically, some things are, but I'm talking about the drums and the rhythms. Hopefully, I'll find one example for you here. But this is a very rhythmically rich, really rich track, rhythmically. By the way, I would like to mourn the loss of Lexicon Reverb. Remember, Bobby?
Again.
Right. They gave me false hope. Literally, I'm going to go with 50% of the time. If I move my bus 8, which is it just crashes. Jeez. So it's so sad, Bobby, because, I showed on the stream earlier, I had 3 in the day. I had 4 of those. I sold one of them. Actually, I gave one to someone who I thought was a really good friend of mine who was fascinated with how I made my rhythms using the PCM80 specifically I used to make a lot of my rhythms. And he was fascinated with it. And then at the end I said, dude, I have 3 PCM80s, man. Just take one. But in the end, he was not really a good friend. Fuck. You know, you know what, guys? You think you know someone. This is one thing I've learned. You think you know someone until you realize you really don't. All right, but let's go into the world of butane pain. Here we go. That's my sense of humor at play. And then it goes into that. Yeah, I mean, there was just some really interesting... the exciting news of the day is back in the day I had a piece of software. It was the first software sampler, and it was called Giga Studio. And it was the first software sampler, and it shipped with this thing called the Giga Piano. And that was the central piano I used on all the Pac-Man tracks. And I finally found it, and I converted it into Contact. So really happy. Okay. I'm happy to have the original. Okay, so it's funny because Spin Music is asking about the sax. So here's the thing. I don't actually... Well, first of all, it's not just a sax. So what am I doing? I'm combining a saxophone with a bassoon, which is also... It's a double-reeded instrument. Saxophones are single-reeded. But I'm pushing... Well, here, let me... Instead of explaining it, I'll just show it to you. Okay, so here it is. Let's see. Where's a good place? So that's the bassoon. Here's the sax. And then together. Okay? Because it's a very different sound. And I think I was explaining this before about I love to layer things together. The bassoon is not optimal in that range. You shouldn't ever really be writing in that range, for any length of time, probably. That's just not what the bassoon is good at. And that's precisely why I put it there in particular. Okay, here we have the bassoon or the saxophones in octaves with the bassoon also in the upper registers. So here's the bassoon on its own. See how high up that is?
Right.
That is so high up. And the thing is, when you listen to it's an alto saxophone. You would think that that lower voice is the bassoon, but you would be wrong because it's a saxophone, right? And guys, I really thought about these pairings, about an alto saxophone with the upper register of the bassoon. It's unlike any, conventional sound. It's not like anything else. And I'm so glad.
How much of the orchestration did you work or did you show to Namco?
Say again? How much?
How much of the orchestration did you show them and say?
I mean, they left all that to me. The only things they were really concerned about were the melodies. That the melodies matched.
So they just got it.
They
worked for them.
Well, okay. Now the other thing is, I did work on another Namco title, Tales of Destiny, and a lot of discussion happened over my approach to orchestration there. And I guess the good news was that Yas and I have a very similar aesthetic in many ways about these things. And so he really, he knows about music, but he doesn't deeply understand about orchestration. Orchestration is something that you spend time, like when I was at Berkeley, studying and perfecting over time. And, the great news was we had ways of understanding if our orchestrations were working. They were cheesy synthesizers, but if you still took your bassoon in the upper register with a saxophone, you could get a sense of what it was going to sound like. So that's what's going on here. Then we have doubled regular in octaves. Then we have the bassoon again with that saxophone pairing. That is a really unique sound.
Right.
See, it doesn't sound like a synthesizer. It sounds organic, but it's not clear what it is. If anybody knows the song Rock and Roll Part 2 by Gary Glitter. They always play it at hockey games. It's legendary. For one of my EA Sports games, they wanted me to do a sound-alike. And I listened for so long because I couldn't understand what the hell the melody was. In the end, I brought in like a session guitar player, and I just said, "Dude, I can't understand this guitar tone." And he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I had to, yeah, I can tell you exactly what." Like he already knew. He's like, "It's a saxophone, a guitar." And the secret ingredient is a kazoo. Saxophone, kazoo, and electric guitar? Who would have thought of that shit?
Right.
But you see, that gave me an insight into sort of like strange orchestrations. And I'm not going to say that's what sort of created these sounds, but it certainly didn't hurt. But that's the thing about orchestration when you study it in school is you're trying to make sort of sounds that are uncommon through strange pairings. No? Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, that is such a cool... And then at the very end, we have this final pairing over here, or it's not pairing, it's 5. Holy cow, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 6 voices here. Let's solo them all. So we're adding the upper clarinet. And it's an oboe as well, I believe. Yes, oboe. So we have an oboe, another double reed instrument, clarinet, single, bassoon, double reed, and then, of course, the alto sax again, single reed. So it's just these strange, odd pairings that are sort of coming up with, I guess, it's almost like you build a structure out of wood, and then it's like choosing the varnish in a way. Like, you know, do you want to, or like a stain and a varnish, right? Like you built maybe you made a beautiful chair. Do I use a dark brown stain, or do I do just a light natural texture? And then do I want a matte varnish, or do I want high gloss? You know, these are sort of ways I can generalize explanations for, you know.
Did you have any concerns when it came to the sound design and sounds that could make it feel like there's something else happening in the game that wasn't in terms of the music? Right.
I mean, yes and no, kind of, because a lot of that was handled by, you know, the programmers dealing with like music and sound effects volume balancing and stuff like that. So for example, like my most sort of famous sound effect in the game is the butt bounce, right? Which is just a timpani, right? And so I didn't even know what key it was in, but it would definitely not work in every single track, but it's clear that it is a sound effect when you're in the game. Like I think gamers understand what is a sound effect and what is just the background music, right? As I recall, the music was mixed fairly decently in the final game. It was fairly decent, the mix. And, you know, they really cared about the music. Yasunaguchi and Glenn Curtin, the two guys I dealt with mostly. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't really worry about it, you know. And because but you know, there were a couple places where I took some of the sound design elements because I felt they could make really good, especially in the Scuba Duba level. And there was a couple of things I used that were actually sound effects from the game, but I brought them in, added reverbs or whatever I added, and then made them into something else. Do you know why the butt bounce sound effect sounds different depending on the console? I don't know. I didn't know. I didn't even know that was a thing. Goneric Beans. You guys have some really interesting names, man. I guess I should make a new user handle. Like, I wrote the music for Pac-Man World. My name means tangerine. Well, David Logan in ancient Greek translates into Pac-Man World 2. I don't know if you knew that, but that's a fact. Or is it Egyptian? Right. I can't remember if it's, yeah, it might be Egyptian. Yeah, so guys, let's open it up to the people on the stream here. Do any of you like have any burning questions that you just have to ask me? We'll just kind of open it up for you guys now, and please feel free, jump in with a question. Oh, that's interesting. The chat that we're getting in OBS is different. That's really weird. Okay, I'm seeing stuff we talked about way before that's really weird. Chat doesn't match, but okay. Yeah, guys, anybody have any questions about, I don't know, David, what are your thoughts on the funny Pac-Man World 2 slide? I don't know the funny I don't know the slide meme that you speak of.
Right, I saw somebody else mention the Scuba Duba was also a meme. But...
Can you guys send me these memes? I'd love to see them. Yeah, send me the memes and I'll take a peek and then I can tell you what I think.
How many different versions of the game have you played on different consoles? So I know you have
personally,
the GameCube.
Yeah, just the Cube and the PS2. That's it.
Okay.
I never really played the GameCube. I just mostly wanted it to kind of have all the various versions of Pac-Man. Okay. I actually one day was, I have a real sweet tooth, and so I think I bought like a box of Lucky Charms or some sugar cereal, and it came with a copy of Pac-Man World 2.
No way.
And I have it somewhere. I'll have to find it. I think I might know where it is even. But yeah, it actually came in a cereal. But that was not uncommon for Asteroids. Actually came in a cereal box. It wasn't the full game, by the way. It was like, like one level,
like a demo.
And and it was always for the PC. Like it was not like a PlayStation 2. It was always for Windows, basically. So, yeah, craziness, man.
I remember those days when you had like a magazine that would come with like a CD full of like games, like a disc even.
Yeah, no. I remember my first Mac that came with a CD-ROM. And, oh, frick, the E03 photos. I totally forgot about that. I guess I kind of got to find it now, huh?
We can also save it for next week.
Wait, hang on though. It might be handy. Let me just check. I'm gonna just see if I have it handy. It might be, because I think it might possibly be in here. Let's see. Nope. Damn. Game stuff. Nope. Oh man. I thought I had it handy. I apparently do not. Oh, that really sucks. Anybody else have any questions as I'm desperately searching for these photos?
The Buster ZX says that he mixed both Scuba Duba and Yellow Pac-Marine together.
Oh yeah? How did that go?
Sure.
I mean, was it a good result? I hope. I'm sorry, I'm multitasking, so it's really hard for me to do that. Actually, nobody can actually multitask. I don't know if you guys know that. You do both tasks, but you do neither efficiently. So, damn it. I'm going to have to find...
Doesn't stop us from trying.
We certainly did try, yes. I know I have them. I just got to find them. That's all. Damn. I also have a picture of me and Yas in Niagara Falls, actually. I don't have any of him and I in the studio, which is really unfortunate. But yeah, he like I said, he and I became friends through working together on Pac-Man, and then yeah, it was years later, like in 2010 maybe, and we always stayed in touch. And he said I was thinking of going to Niagara Falls, and I was like, dude, I'll come meet you there because it's not far for me, and I did, and we had a lovely time together, really nice. So,
how much of your time was spent playtesting? How many?
I mean, I got really good at Pac-Man World 2 during the beta testing phase. I mean, I was not an official beta tester, but I remember several times reporting bugs to Yas. I'm like, dude, I've been playing this level all day, and every time I jump here, I get trapped in the ice cube. What the hell am I supposed to do? I'm trying to play the level. And he's like, oh, wow, we didn't even know about that one. All right, thanks. And then he's like, just wait for the next burn. So things were slow, man.
Yes.
No, sorry, Purple. I used to be Purple Ghost. I used to live in Toronto, Canada, and now I live in Rome, Italy. And then I was, 6 years I was in Los Angeles. And then I guess 4 years in Boston. So I've lived in Boston, 1 year in Traverse City. So Boston, Toronto, Traverse City, Rome, and Los Angeles. So 5 cities I've lived in. So I'm Canadian. Of course I'm Canadian. Do you think any American could be as cool as me? Hell no. No, I'm joking. Yeah, but yeah, it's strange, the Canadian identity, but let's not get into that.
Right.
Canada, well, because Canada has fallen apart. It's a shit country now. It's not the Canada that I grew up in. But I think it's true of many places. Like a lot of places in the world are just turning into shit, dog shit. And yeah, I don't recognize Canada anymore. It's not the Canada that I grew up in. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's how shit goes sometimes. But yes, I'm Canadian. I am Canadian, for real Canadian, born and raised in downtown Toronto. And not like Hamilton or Mississauga or Etobicoke, like center Toronto. Like I could ride my bicycle to the CN Tower. That's how downtown I was. You understand? So yeah, Canada has fallen apart, guys. It's really sad. It's just bad leadership. Yeah, I know.
I think we could say that for many, many parts of the world.
I know, but Trudeau especially, he destroyed Canada. He destroyed Canada. And he destroyed the legacy of his father, who is considered the greatest Canadian Prime Minister ever, Pierre Elliott Trudeau. But we're not here to talk about politics, are we? No. Any other Pac-Man questions?
Right. So I think we passed our 1.5 hours. So
all right, we can wrap it up.
Would you ever do a stream playing Pac-Man World 2?
Well, now that's interesting. I did It's a possibility. I did pre-order the repack. I don't know if I want to do that live stream first time, because I might cry if they really butcher my
right.
Because if they fuck up my music, I'm just gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. So yeah, I'll just cry, man. I'll cry. Also, the other thing is, like, I was a hardcore gamer my whole life, and occasionally I'll bust out Resident Evil 4 on my PlayStation 4. That tells you how modern my consoles are. But I did buy a Switch 2 just for the occasion. But I'm rusty, guys. I'm like really rusty. And I am certainly not the gamer of yesteryear. That is for sure. Have you heard of the recent Sonic collab in World 2 Repack? I have not heard, no. I didn't know that was going to be a thing. I keep asking like a broken record, but when it comes to early music, do you still have any early Ice River Run music that made it into the GC version? Or the early Pac-Dot, the GC, what's the GC versions? GameCube, I guess, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it's a great, I'll tell you what,
yes.
Starman. Yeah, it took me a minute to get the GC reference. It's you cool kids in the modern era. You have your shortcuts for everything. I'll tell you what. So.
Oh, cool.
They're releasing a 3-pack for. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so I can't scroll back in this text. Why not? I can't scroll on the text. That's really screwed up. All right, so for the person who asked me. Oh, I found it. Okay. So Super Starman, if you can maybe just send me a link of exactly the music that you're talking about, then I can answer your question. Here's the thing. Let's just take another 5 minutes for this because it's kind of fun also.
Sure.
Because I recently compiled this. I've done a huge amount of compiling. And one of the things that I compiled is this. And this is impressive. If for no other reason, we just gotta look at this because, damn it, this is impressive. This is the all mixes folder for Pac-Man World 2. Look at all of the naming conventions and beautiful organization. This is not sound effects. This is not sound effects. This is only music. There are 3 little sound effects, but they're called sound effects because they're not music. The mazes, which I'm sure some of you might recognize, but I called it a musical sound effect. Little fanfare. And then the looped version. By God, upload every single thing. About that Superstar Man. Oh yeah, dear. That's let's just say, what is it, Bobby? We're facing some challenges. Was that the nice?
Well, we're having discussions.
Right.
Yeah. With our friends at Namco.
Good choice of words. Okay, so I found a old pack pond. Yeah, it's nothing really though. Yeah. I heard the snippet of the remade. Yeah, guys, they really butchered my drums and percussion. And I said that on the last stream because nobody can do drums and percussion quite the way I do it. No one. I mean, I think every drummer spends their lifetime sort of building up their sense of groove. And it's all my groove and my vision of like this contrapuntal way of putting rhythm together. No one can do that. No one.
Right.
You know what the funny thing is? I even used the stem splitter to pull the, the drums out of the mix and the bass, and it splits everything. It screwed up everything because it just can't. The AI doesn't do drums the way David Logan does drums. So it just didn't recognize it. And most of it went into the other. Anyway, look what we got here. There's tons of this. The golden fruit. There's the golden fruit sound effect. So I was responsible for all these things. These are all under my tenure. So we have the arcade classic, right? But I don't. Well, there's the pack logo. Yeah, pre-boss. I mean, there's so much stuff, man. Oh! This is nowhere in the game. Nowhere. This is an early version. I know! You guys are losing your mind. Look how many whoa and dude we're getting. They're all freaking out, man. Everybody is losing their mind over this. It's wonderful, no? It's cray-cray. Guys, it's crazy. You know when that was done? October 2001. That's the date. So, guys, I think I got to stop. I'm going to stop rebuilding the soundtrack because it's almost all finished. I think the next thing I got to do, I can't Well, you see about that uploading thing. What are we going to do, Bobby? I mean, really, what are we going to do? The fans want this stuff, man. They want this stuff.
Right.
It's so heartbreaking. Should we let the cat out of the bag? Should we just do it?
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's let the cat out of the bag. So, we have nothing but love for all the folks over at Namco. But we are facing some challenges with our release of the official soundtrack on Apple Music, Spotify, and everything else. And despite the fact that I tried reaching them untold number of times over the years, they never replied to me. They never got back to me. So, Orb Soundworks, we took it upon ourselves to just put it up for the fans, for the people, because you guys have asked for it. This is not going to make money. It's not a big money maker. It's not for us to, build our coffers up. It's just for you guys. But they're making it.
Well, we just need to clarify a few things.
Yeah, it is understandable. It's their right. It's absolutely their right to do that. I'm not angry at them, just to be clear. It's disappointing and it made me sad. It actually hurt me in my heart. I'm not joking. But it's their intellectual property. I did a work for hire, which means they own all the music. So I don't know that. I mean, maybe I could release that. I don't know. It's possible. Anyway, guys, I think... Well, Bobby, did they also have a problem with the SoundCloud?
They did.
They did, yeah. They also want us to remove it from SoundCloud, which is just... That one really bothers me because that's like where composers put their demo reel. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's very, very, very heartbreaking. So I don't know, guys. We're going to have to figure this one out. But yeah, I've got some real gems. Some bangers.
Well, I think it just pushes us even further towards our orchestral version.
Right. We have to just figure out, and if it means contacting a lawyer about, how do we do this legally without getting in trouble? No, because these guys love this music. I want to put it out for them. I want them to have access to it. They have a right, because guys, this is about the culture of gaming. That's what we're talking about here, right? We're not, this is about culture now that we're talking about, right? And so, we're not trying to become millionaires off of this. But yeah. Yeah, I remember somebody was talking about this idea that the original composers on Repack 1 did not get credited. And I certainly hope that they credit me. I really, really do. Anyway, I mean, listen.
We're still talking to them.
Yeah,
so
we're still in.
Nothing's set.
Yeah, nothing is final. We're still in conversations with Namco. I just hope they see it our way, which is that this is about culture, about a deep love and culture.
Right.
Of the brand, of the character, of the franchise, and of the music, for God's sake. That's what this is not about, us monetizing and becoming millionaires, right?
Right.
Anyway, we'll keep you guys updated as to what's going on. But yeah, I think for our next stream, I think I'm going to get a couple of these bangers together, man, because that was super cool what we just heard, no? That was super cool. Very cool. So I'm going to find, and maybe I'll make an expanded version of the outtakes. Yeah. All right. I'll get on that, guys. Nick, you said it correctly. Spread love. Spread love, man. Guys, I'll tell you one thing. If whatever you do in your life, if you are authentic, okay, and if you do it with love, if you have both of those things, it's going to be okay. Your life is generally, like, everything is going to be all right. Just whatever you do, do it with love. Have it come from a good place, and be authentic, be real, be real, be real, be real. you know, and you know, I often think about this, about like, what does it mean to be authentic, in fact? And I think it's showing the truest version of yourself with all the flaws, not apologizing for it, knowing what your flaws are and working on them to make you a better person, and finding solutions to problems, you know? And, but I think the other thing, admitting fault and not just saying sorry, but find a solution that shows you're sorry, right? Like Bobby and I, and the fact that I totally flaked on a meeting. So we discussed it, and you know, I apologized, but I found an actionable solution to the problem, right? Maybe not as the best one, but it'll work for right now.
The solution.
Anyway, guys, whoever was I forgot who, Starman was it? Wants that GameCube stuff? Send me a link.
I have the link.
You have the link?
He sent it, yeah.
Can I have it? I just want to quickly, because I can tell you, Super Starman, because I can tell you in 2 seconds, probably. I guess you're going to put it in our group chat, our private group chat.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's see. Why is this not taking me anywhere? Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry.
Now, if it's the original music, I wouldn't play it on the stream. Just, I guess a few seconds is okay.
Yeah. Wow. It's like slower, isn't it? I guess they probably took... Okay, so first of all, the answer is yes, I have it. Because I think underscore version. Let's just quickly... I mean, for sure I'll have it somewhere. Let's just right now, I'm going to look at some of these Snow versions over here. And you're going to hear some early Snow versions of their unreleased version, early version. You guys freaking out again? This is the one? You know what? So anyway, the answer is yes, I have it. But you want to know something that's really depressing? That was an approval mix. And there's literally not even a mastered version of that. That was never meant to be heard by the public. And Namco put it out. And that actually is really upsetting to me. Because it's an unfinished, unmixed, and unmastered. It's absolute disrespect to the composer. It's also disrespect to the contract. It is. Very, very upsetting that that was released on the GameCube. But yes, I have it apparently. But whatever. It's all good. All good. If it was used in the game, then there's no problem putting it on YouTube. Well, that's the thing, Superstar Man. There is a problem with putting it on YouTube. And Namco has made that clear to Orb Soundworks, to Bobby, to myself, and our other partner, Emanuele. And this is why I'm so upset about it. Because they're very politely, graciously requesting that we pull it all off so that there will be no official Pac-Man music out there, which we just find unacceptable in every way. And we're in dialogue now. We're gonna talk to them and see what we can work out. Hopefully we can, because it's crazy. It's about gaming culture, man. It's not about making money. I don't care one bit. So the director keeps on using work in progress instead of giving my composers permission. Sorry, what composers, Kiwi, are you talking about? Anyway, it is sad, Nick. It's very sad. It really makes it really. Oh, friends of yours. Okay. Yeah, the whole thing is sad. Yeah. And, but that's how it goes. All right. Well, good news is I have all those mixes because of how amazingly organized my archives are. I agree, Nick. Artistic integrity, but I don't know, man. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation, I suppose. But I think we're at that time, right, Bobby? Where we
are.
We are.
And well past. So.
And yeah, well past. All right, guys. So listen, you guys, thank you, all of you. Seriously, thank you so much, everybody, for making this stream as enjoyable and as fun as it is, because it's really been a great pleasure. And yeah, I guess, oh, right, I got to end like this. All right, I think that the purpose of life is to find some purpose in life. And I think the meaning of life is to find some meaning in life. So guys, go out there, make purpose, find meaning. And I will see you guys all in 1 week from today, okay? And until then, take care of yourself and be safe. I can't find the OBS button. You know what happens sometimes? My Stream Deck doesn't pull the OBS forward. It's really crazy. I guess I think I do somewhere have an end the stream switch, but all right, we're good. I'm ready to end the stream. Are you guys ready? I'm going to pull the Band-Aid off. In 3, 2, 1. Just kidding. No. Sorry. I'm just trolling everybody. Come on. I can't be a troll. Again, find your purpose, find some meaning, and I'll see